Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth. Today we're playing Dutch flatmates in brackets Kropki. And in the picture you can see what I'm going to describe as somewhat of a classic Dutch scene. So kind of European style living room, sort of slightly modern, looking outside of the window onto, I'm going to call European style sort of not detached. It's not going to be detached. Kind of townhouses and canals, cyclists, the usual lot. With, I guess, paying respect to the Kropki, with the two gentlemen there, the two flatmates, playing checkers, which are normally sort of black and white pieces, I think, or black and red pieces. So hopefully that sort of reminds me a little bit of the Kropki Dots. Now, I've actually done this intro 3 times. You're only getting to see it the first one, because first time round the thumbnail was wrong. Second time round the details, like the rules, the puzzle title, were all incorrect. So I am kind of recording this clearly not all switched on. It seems to be a habit recently, so I'm hoping it's still going to be a very phenomenal solve, because I think this series from Flinty deserved nothing less. So let's take a look at the puzzle. We have Dutch flatmates in brackets Kropki by Flinty, and the following set of rules. Actually, just before I mention that, this is the second one I'm featuring from this series. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the easier puzzle, at least based on the difficulty rating on Logic Masters Germany. So if you haven't played the other one, play this one first. Then what I'm going to do, if I remember, is put a link up here somewhere so that you can actually go and find the more difficult puzzle and enjoy that as well. Right, onto the rules. So normal Sudoku rules apply, so that means place the digits 1 to 9 in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. No repeats in any of these. Now, here is sort of the Dutch flatmate rule. I think we should be able to credit Flinty with this variant. So 5s live in Dutch flats. And it's almost like, paying an homage to the Dutch whisper line, because essentially all 5s in the grid must strictly have either a 1 above it. So if this is a 5, for example, either there's a 1 above it, or there is a 9 below it. Now, what I can't do is have neither. That doesn't work. That breaks this rule. But there's nothing wrong with having both. So I can have a 5 with a 1 above it and a 9 below it. And that would be fine as well. But the important thing is at least one of them is a 1 above it or a 9 below it. Then we have Kropki Dots, and that's kind of all the variant rules. So Kropki Dots, we've got cells separated by white dots are consecutive in value. So let's take these two cells, for example, with a white dot joining them. If that happens to be a 2, this cell needs to be consecutive with a 2. That could be a 1, as in 1 plus 1 is 2, or a 3, as in 2 plus 1 is 3. And therefore these would be consecutive. We also have black Kropki dots. Let's use this pair in here. These two cells have a black dot in between them, and the values have to be in a 2 to 1 ratio. So I could have a 2, and literally a 2 to 1 ratio would be 2 and 1. That works. The other alternative could be a 4, as in 2 times 2 is 4. So one value in these two cells is essentially half the other, and it'll be true here, there, and I guess this series here that we'll take a look at. So hopefully that's fairly straightforward. I have no idea how this is going to play. It is very highly rated, so I'm looking forward to it. Now, if you fancy playing checkers with your Dutch flatmate, or Kropki Dots I should say, link in the description down below as usual for you to play along. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Right, anyone that's viewed the channel for a while now knows I am absolutely going to start in here. And the reason for that is, on a black Kropki dot, there are 3 types of digits. There is the power of 2 digits, as in 2 to the 0 is 1, 2 to the 1 is 2. But essentially, each digit in this set is 2 times the previous one. There's another set, which is 3 and 6. 3 times 2 is 6. There are no other digits in here. 6 times 2 is 12. Too big, it's not from 1 to 9. And 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. Well, definitely not from the set 1 to 9. And then the last set is the 5, 7, and 9, which can never go on a black Kropki dot. If I pick the 7 as an example, 7 times 2 is 14, too big. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5, and that's not even an integer number to try and place between 1 and 9. Whenever you see a run in here where there is 3 or more digits that are unique on black Kropki dots, so this is at least 3. In this case, we've actually got the full suite. It's a 4. We know it's not 3, 6. It's definitely not 5, 7, 9. It is essentially 2, 4. Actually, I'm going to do both of them at the same time. What a treat. And these have to be 1, 8. Now, I don't know what's what. It could go 1, 2, 4, 8. And then the reverse here would be 8, 4, 2, 1. Or the other way around. And to get ahead of that, I am probably just going to do a bit of preemptive coloring to help me spot what's what. I really should have kind of selected and colored them both again simultaneously, but no matter, we're here. Now, continuing in box 6, well, this is clearly not 1824. They're all looking at this cell, so this is the other set. That's a 3, 6. That is actually also a 3, 6. It's not necessarily intuitive to see, but you've got 2 and 4, a different 2 and 4. You've got a 2, 4 pair in here. If it is from the set 1, 8, 2, and 4, you have to have a 2 or a 4 with it, and we can't. We've used them both in row 7. So that's 3, 6. I will continue to do a bit of preemptive coloring. That's green, that's orange, that's green. What else do we know? This is clearly now not 3 or 6. It is in fact a 2, 4, 1, 8 in that color. Blue and purple. We have now blue and purple and a 3, 6 seeing this cell. This has to be either red or yellow. Now, if it's red, that's easy. That can only be yellow. If it's yellow, it has options. It could be a blue or it could be a red. We don't know. We actually haven't placed any digits. We really should think about placing some. And I think maybe the way to place some would be to think around, where does 5 go in here? We've written huge amounts of this box. So, for example, the 5 is not on this white dot. If it's a 5 in here, well, look above it. This is not 3 or 6. This is 3 or 6. It's not a 1. I need a 9 beneath it, and that breaks the white dot. And the reverse is true. If that's a 5, that's 3, 6 again, and I can't place a 1 in here because they're not consecutive with the 5. So the 5 is here. And now to think about what this could be. Sort of tough, actually. So it could be 1, 2. No, it's not. No, it could be. I could do 1, 2, can't I? If that's 8, 4. No, because what would this cell be? If I put 1, 2, 8, 4, I've left no options in here. So it's not 1 and 2. It's not 3. It can't be 4 because the 5 and the 3, which are the two adjacent digits to the 4, here's a knowledge bomb for you, are not available. So that can't be a 4 either. That's not 5. That's not 6. This is 7, 8, or 9 with a definite 8 to join the 7 or the 9. And we can actually place things. That's a 1. That's a 2. That's a 4. And that's an 8. And I say we can place them because if we know that there's an 8 in here, that 1, 8 clearly is now going to be a 1. We've got an 8 staring at this. This is not the 8. That's the 7 or 9. That's the 8. Does that tells us that's a 4 now because we already placed the 8. So that's 4, which unfortunately doesn't give us what this is. This is 2 or 8, but that's not yellow. That's not red. I don't know if I'm going to keep coloring, by the way, but just for the black Kropki dots, that's probably as far as I'm going to go. And then in here I have 5, 7, and 9. I have a 7 and 9 on this 8, which gives me the 5 in here. No 1 above it. Must be a 9 beneath it, and therefore that's a 7. That's a 9. And we're off to a cracking start, I think. If I can say so myself. These are therefore 1 and 2. So 5 is not here. I can't place a 5 in here because 9 is not beneath it, and I can't put a 1 above it because it's already done in the column. So, sorry, I need to get the door. Hang on with me a second. Sorry about that. That was a delivery for my neighbors, and I think they accidentally put our address down on. Where was I? So I was saying this can't be a 5 because that's not 9, and I can't put a 1 above it. That's not 5 because I've already placed it. One of these is a 5. Doesn't have a 1 beneath it, sorry, above it, so there must be a 9 beneath it, whichever one it's in. I could do a 5 with a 6 in here and then a 9. That works. 5 with a... Can't do 5 and 9 in here. Sleuth, pay attention. That's 5. That's 9. That can't be 4. That's now 6. I have 3 and 7 left, and they're not resolved. All right, so in here we know what this is. This is 5, 8, 9, 5, 8, 9. 3, 6, they are resolved. Sleuth, sleuth. 5, 8, 9, well, the 5 is not on a white dot joining an 8, 9. That's a 5. That's an 8, 9. 9 can't be beneath it. It's up here. That's a 1. This is going unusually well. Kind of famous last words before I get stuck for ages now. But let's have a think what this is. This is 1, 6, 7. That's not 1. Not very helpful. This is 2, 3, 4. And could be anything. It doesn't really matter. How about rather than just doing random things, I should think around placing some digits or looking for things that will actually help me. I mean, 9 says there's a 9 up here. It's not very useful. How do I resolve these? Does it even matter right now? I'm not sure. I mean, these white Kropki dots clearly are going to be helpful. This black dot is also going to be helpful. So kind of need to work my way towards these. And I'm not entirely sure about how. Or I can keep thinking about 5s. Yeah, I can put a 5 here under the 1. In fact, I think I have to put the 5 there. Yeah, I have to. So if you think about the bottom row, where does the 5 go? And the question for that is like, doesn't matter. Wherever I put a 5, I can't put a 9 beneath it off the grid. I have to put a 1 above it. And because I've already placed the 1, this is the only place the 5 can be. So these cells are now known. Feeling very proud of that deduction, by the way. I didn't see that coming. 3, 6, 9. We have a 3 in here. We have a 6 in there. That's kind of the end of useful things at the moment. Okay. 5, 5 means there's a 5 up here. If I put a 5 there, that would require a 1 above it. So that's not possible. If I put a 5 in here, well, a 1 above it is actually quite plausible. If I put a 5 at the top, I need a 9 beneath it, which is not available, and it's in here. So that's actually fixed. That's the 5, and I need a 1 above it. That's a 2. That's a 1. This is now 4 or 6. Well, 6 is in here. So that's 4, which means I actually know what these are. That's 2, 7, and 8. And now I can fill in this row. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a bit of a run. Not 6, not 8, 6, 7, or 8. 5s, 5s, 5s are sorted. 5 is sorted, 5 is sorted. 5 in here is can only be there, and it needs a 9 beneath it because that's not a 1. And I think I've pretty much done all the 5s at this point. There's a 5 in one of these two cells. I'll think about that in a moment. If that's a 5, I need a 1 above it. Not an option in here because I've already placed it in the column. And obviously there's no 9 under it, so that's not the 5. That's the 5 with a 9 under it. And then we're left with, well, 5s are not on a black Kropki dot. That's a 5. Can't have a 1 above it because that's already placed in the box. That's a 9, that's an 8. And then 5s, only 1 left to be placed, which is in here. And ironically, I could have a 9 under it or a 1 above it, so can't place any more digit space on that just yet. But take a look at this 5 now with a run of white dots. So I could do technically 6, 7, that's not stopping. I could also do a descending run, which is 4 and 3, and that also works. No, I can't. I can't do ascending because if that's 6, what are these two cells? They're both 3s. So that's 4, that's 3, which gives me, yep, 6, 3, 6, 3. Kind of unfortunate the colors are that way around, but I'll live. And then 3, 4, 5, well, let's take a look at what this column is. This is 7 and 6. That's 6, that's 7. That's not 7, that's 6 or 8. Doesn't actually give us what these are. We can actually complete this. This is 3, 4. If it's a 4, this is either a 5, which it isn't, or a 3 and a 2. That's possible. If that's a 3, technically I can do 2 and 1, but I can't do 3, 4, 5 because I've already placed a 5 in the row and the box. So that they're both descending. I think it's the short version. And for the moment, nothing seems to conflict. They both work. What about the 2? 3 and 1 is not available. That's not a 2. Both options again seem to work. If it's an 8, it's not a 9. It's not available. That's a 7. If it's a 7, I can still do 8 or 6. Both are available. This one maybe, it's not 1, it's not 8. One option would be 2, 4. And because of this 4, it would be in this order. Or a 3, 6. If this is 2, 4, that's 3, that's 1. Yeah, it works. And if that's 3, 6, yeah, plenty of choices. 6 would require a 6 in here, a 3 in there. That's not 6. What about in here? Can I do anything with this? Surely. So I need 1 and 7 with another 2 and 8. 7 is in here. Because of that, the 1 is now in there. That's another 2, 8. That 8 tells me the order. That's 2. That's 8. That's not 2 or 8. That's actually a 7. That's now a 3. That's a 9. These are not 9. Actually, that 3 fully resolves that. That's 6, 3. That's neither of these are 7, which means that's now an 8. And I remember that was a 7. That's a 2. That has to be a 6. That's not 3. That's not 6. We're pretty much at the home stretch now, I think, because we've basically used all the clues and it's just a bunch of Sudoku now. Well, I almost use all the clues. We don't know yet if this is a 1 or not, or whether this has to be the 9. So something to remember if we need to resolve that later. Let's just finish this box and take a look at the rows and that we have available. I need an 8 and a 4, not resolved. I need a 2 and a 9, also not resolved. Okay. Not very useful. In here, they don't look resolved. Yeah, the 1 resolves this. This is now 2, 3, 4. That's a 3. Doesn't give us any of these, unfortunately. This is now 6 or 8. Not resolved. 1s. is resolved. That's not 1, that is a 1. Could still be a 9, but not required anymore. This 2 gives me the 9, the 4. Neither are 4 now. This 3 gives me this 3, gives me the 2, the 3. It looks like, I mean, I made more progress and I should be able to resolve stuff. Well, 7, 6, 7, but not really. 4 and 8 down here, that's an 8, that's a 4, that's an 8, that's a 4, that's a 2. Not resolved, okay. 7 or 8, that's 8, that's 7, that's 6, that's 8, that's 6. Ironically, that's probably going to be a 9. No, it isn't. There you go, 9. So, and now I can finish with a 7. There you go. Lovely puzzle once again, Flinty. I mean, it's a very kind of easy start. So how did I resolve this? I'm trying to remember the 1, 2, 4. I'm not sure I remember. Oh, it was, yes, figuring out that this had to include an 8. So I think kind of the Kropki start helped. But really, to make any progress through this, you really do need to think about the 5s regularly throughout all of it. And I think that's the beauty of the puzzle, is just it's a little bit different. It's another variant. It's not a difficult puzzle today, but a lovely one from Flinty. Thank you so much for creating the series. Hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video. And see you back for the next one. Bye for now.